This is the Zo Daddy,
This is the Man Candy.
and welcome to podcast number 5.
Holy crap.
It is getting crazy, and today we're going to have a very special podcast. Still no guest yet, Man Candy. We're
No guest.
waiting for that to come up. Hopefully soon we can get that, but...
Let's make a deal. Let's have a guest on our next episode.
All right, next episode we're going to have our first guest.
A guest guarantee.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, just a quick recap. We got the wedding coming up tomorrow.
I'm pumped.
And I am ready for LS and the Queen's wedding. I am going to go with the short sleeve shirt.
Okay.
After talking to LS, he's like, hey, that will be perfectly fine.
Okay.
And some, some black pants, just a nice golf shirt. And
You got good shoes?
I'm going to need the wife to help me out on that. So.
Okay.
Yeah. What about yourself?
She helped you out with everything else.
Oh yeah,
Let's
she'll
be honest.
pick it up. Yeah. What about yourself, man?
I think I'm going to go with the black pants. I went to Kohl's and got a nice light blue button up and probably a tie. Didn't get that WWE tie as promised, so
LS will be disappointed.
but I may have a surprise.
Oh, I love it. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, no, this is so last episode we introduced a brand new section of the show called What's That Sound? And it's, to be honest with you, it's got a lot of buzz this past week.
Oh, I agree. And I nailed I didn't get the dice on the table, the intro one. Had some other people say the little stopper at the end of the door.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a kind of a good guess. And my wife got it right away with the dice. She knew it. So
Yep.
I don't think she guessed on the poll, though. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But we got to get some people, some more followers, and we will.
I agree, but like I said, there was a lot of buzz this week. So a lot of people tried to guess. They came up to us and said, "Hey, can you play What's That Sound? I want to hear the sound again because I want to make a good guess." So just for all of our listeners out there, here is last week's sound.
And I totally know what that is, and I said it right away. That is called putting a play in Super Tecmo Bowl.
You are 100% correct.
And so that leads us to podcast just our tips number 5, which is going to be Super Tecmo Bowl tips.
Yes.
Oh, we can go with so many different directions on this, but
Did you play this game growing up?
oh yes, this and RBI baseball were my 2 favorite sporting games on the Nintendo.
Would you consider this to be the greatest football game ever made?
Oh, by far, hands down. There is nothing comparing. I know the big buzz with the new NCAA football game coming out, but I don't do anything without. I just like the A, B, and the up, down, left, right. I can't do any more controls than that.
You're a 2-button kind of guy.
I am a 2-button guy. That's it.
Okay. Did you know that Tecmo Bowl was released in 1991?
You should have had me guess the year.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay, 1991. Okay, what else do you have?
Some other fun facts that it was developed by Tecmo, and this is the first sporting game that was licensed by both the NFL, the National Football League, and the National the Players Association.
Okay.
So that's why you have all the different names and the more realistic teams than you have seen before in the past, like on the old Atari or some of those other older games.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you again. This is not scripted.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Just maybe give some tips or some.
Okay.
Why is it like that? So in Super Tecmo Bowl, I noticed a couple names like QB Eagles, and so my guess is they just didn't give the rights to the company. Is that true?
That's what I've always heard. It was QB Eagles, it was a QB Browns, and QB Bills.
QB Bills.
So that those 3 quarterbacks either didn't get it in time or didn't sign off on the right things or want to be a part of it. But that's always the lure of Tecmo Super Bowl, and has that bit of a nostalgia feel to it. Because the landscape in this game was very different than the NFL now. So, especially when you get either introducing somebody to the game, they're going to want to be teams like the Seahawks or the New England Patriots because they think, they're good, they're, somewhat decent now. And it just doesn't translate in this sort of game. You got to remember that era and remember who those specific teams that were good are.
And just a quick fun fact with the Man Candy is that he actually competed in the Super Tecmo. What was it called? The Super Tecmo.
Tecmo Madison.
Tecmo Madison,
Yep.
and that was the biggest Tecmo tournament in the United States, correct?
I believe it was, and I say that loosely because there are a lot of cities and towns that put on some good tournaments, but this one had again a little bit of that nostalgia feel to it. It was put on so nice. Individuals came from all different parts of the country, so it kind of felt like a national championship, even though I wouldn't necessarily call it that, but it had a fun feel to it. I did that for probably about 5 years, I want to say. Some of you may be listening may have seen the NFL film documentary that came out about it. That was super awesome, and that's actually what inspired me to, keep playing Tecmo Bowl and keep interested in participating in the tournament. Is again that nostalgia, sitting at home playing Nintendo all the time.
So how many would you say did they had a lot of consoles at those events? Do you remember about how many they had?
I mean, I want to say there was probably like 300 some people in the 300, 400 range. So you had to have big TVs everywhere.
They had the little TVs.
They were smaller, but TVs, they're big box TVs,
yes.
Not like a plasma TV or something in 4K because there's just something about that old TV that plays the game really well.
So they probably had over 100 consoles.
Oh, easy.
Okay, easy. Wow, that was a lot.
It was fun. I unfortunately didn't go there thinking that I was going to win the whole thing, but it's still a fun day. And to be honest, the best part of it is, and this is going to sound bad, but after you get eliminated from the tournament, then it's all the people that you meet and the side games that you play. Hey, let's sit down and we'll play for $5, or some next person buys a beer or whatever. And those games were always a lot of fun and a lot of trash talking that went into those as well. So,
and it was kind of interesting with one of the things that I went and watched you one time, where you kind of like, was it flip a coin or some sort, and then one person said the two teams,
correct,
and then the other person got to pick which team that they had the first pick.
Correct. So you didn't want to get, if you were the guy picking, you wanted to pick two equally matched teams. Otherwise, you might get screwed with the lesser team.
Yes, and you did a lot of research. I mean, from the ranking of all the teams in the game, and then I know you had a little note card, and you come out with where you pick. You have, and this is a good tip, is you have your key defensive players. You might have 2 or 3 names on that note card. That this is who I'm going to take on defense,
especially during specific plays and whatnot.
So the last thing before we get in the tips is just I don't know if you want.
What would you say? What are your let's say your top 3 favorite teams to be?
Like now again. If this was playing against the computer or versus another human,
2 totally different things.
Yes, 2 totally different things. Because if I am going against against the computer, I mean, how don't you take the Raiders with Bo Jackson?
Sure.
And
have some fun with
and just have some fun, and we'll get to some of the things you can do with that in our tips. But obviously them. I mean, the best teams to me are. They aren't the best team. I would say the 49ers and Buffalo is up there, and
I believe they were in that Super Bowl the year prior. This came out.
Said 49ers and Buffalo are always my top 2 teams, and then you throw in the Giants defense with Lawrence Taylor. Oh man, he can
wreak havoc.
That is so true. So I mean, we could go on and talk about our Tecmo all-time players offensively and defensively in this game, but I don't know. That might have to be just a different episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what give me a matchup.
Give you a matchup.
A random matchup.
Well, why don't you reach over and look at the paper plate?
No,
we don't want to talk about that. That's later.
All right, no.
How about
finish that question? Then we can talk at the paper.
Well, how about the Giants versus Kansas City Chiefs?
Interesting.
You got Christian Okoye.
It's basically the question of that matchup is, can Lawrence Taylor stop Christian Okoye?
Yes.
So, interesting.
Yeah,
we could give it a go.
Yeah.
So, another tip is when you start getting back into some of these games, and especially if you have some competition in your area, is sit down and just kind of track your stats against each other. And I'm happy to announce that it feels good that your winning percentage over me is about 52%.
Oh, I disagree. I disagree, man, Candy. You know
It's
that's not
close.
true.
It's not-
I'm thinking it's closer to 80 than 50.
I don't
It's
know.
closer to 80.
I don't know.
That last, what is it? The last 10 matchups, I think I won 8 of the last 10.
Wow.
Yes, and we keep track of all of it. We write down the matchups and then keep track of the records. What we've been doing when we've been playing is we randomly select
Vertically and
vertical
horizontally.
and horizontal, and then you basically have those as your matchups. So you get some different types.
You never know what you're going to
You
get.
never know what you're going to get, and sometimes the teams are a little lopsided, and still it seems like I always somehow have that underdog win.
I don't know about that. But.
So
So the paper plate's just a way that we call just tracking our stats and tracking our scores against each other. It all started with when we first started playing. We're going to start tracking our records. There was only a paper plate to be found to write it down on, so that's what we did, and we used that for the longest time. But now converted a little bit.
Yes, yep. But we still call it the paper plate.
I wonder if paper plate Tecmo sheets will be a sponsor later on
Yes,
down the road.
one of our wonderful fake sponsors.
Have
They can
their people
definitely do
call
it.
our people, and
That's
we'll make
right.
that happen.
So, one of the tips I wanted to just give
Yeah.
out is if you're playing against the computer, and maybe you're going to do a whole season. You know, when I used to love doing that when I was a kid, is playing the whole season, seeing if you can go undefeated. But the big thing is, I wanted all my players offensively to be the top quarterback. I wanted them to have the most passing yards, top receiver, and then I also wanted to try to get the top running back with the most rushing yards.
Okay.
In order to do that, you might have to do some crazy things on kickoffs. So anytime that the opponent kicked off or punted, I would, this is a huge tip, run back to like the 2-yard line and start going 99 or 98 yards to pad those stats.
There you go. If you get a punt, you run backwards as far as you can
Yep.
and then get out of bounds.
And get out of bounds. That's a huge tip to try to, have you win all those season awards.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
That
You
might
could-
be the next trending challenge of who
Yes.
can get
If-
the most.
Exactly. The most passing yards, most rushing yards. And then once you do score, you automatically, every time on the kickoff, I would always do the onside kick.
Oh, yeah.
Try to get the ball back as quick as you can
And stop 'em.
and stop them.
Well, that doesn't help their stats either.
No, doesn't help. And then I try to also, maybe this is not a move you can do in Tecmo. What was that called when you the center?
Lurching.
Lurching. You cannot lurch and
Okay.
be the nose guard on defense and just go down and dive at the quarterback's legs. That's frowned upon. But when I'm playing the computer,
It's fun to do.
I like to do that.
It's fun to do, for
Yes,
sure.
yes.
For sure.
So, what would be some of your tips?
I really like the padding your stats one. I like to explore and try some different combinations of players as well. And you always have your go-tos like the Jerry Rices and maybe in some cases like the Sterling Sharps. But try to get the second guy
Yes.
equal or greater numbers.
That's a great call.
That's always a lot of fun. Or maybe even a backup running back or something like that. So.
Yeah, and I always loved being the Packers.
Oh, yeah.
Just trying to be the Packers and try to go undefeated.
I even tried a season once where I had Anthony Dillick as my quarterback instead of Don Mikowski.
Instead of the Magic Man.
Yeah, I swapped him out.
Wow. And you always got to be careful of those injuries. You're going
Sure.
to get injured sometime during that season, or the health. You check those. And that's another tip, is to constantly be checking your players and checking their playing condition.
right.
If they're an excellent, give them the ball. If they're getting bad, you got to sub them out.
Unless if they're me and they're on excellent, and I still end up fumbling the ball.
Yeah,
too,
that's
so
true. That is true.
That's awesome.
So,
Do you have any underrated players?
Ooh,
Who's an underrated player?
underrated player?
That it maybe be like a nice fun go to. Someone that's not obvious like Bo Jackson or
No.
Could be somebody on defense.
Well, just playing against you, I'm always amazed at what Al Toon can do.
Sure.
It's like, I knew he was a good NFL player, but I didn't think he was going to be this good in this game. It seems like every time that you do those Hail Marys, Altoon always comes up with
And
it.
Benny Blades.
Benny Blades, yeah. Oh yes, Benny Blades also.
And
So,
I know you like being Dion.
oh, Dion is unbelievable. I love being Dion Sanders. When I'm the Atlanta Falcons, he always gets at least one interception for me every game.
And I like being Fulcher and on the Cincinnati Bengals
Yes,
or Brown.
you're a big Bengals guy.
I'm a big, not in real life, hate the Minnesota Vikings, but I don't mind being them in Tecmo Bowl.
Yes.
For some reason. So I'm also a Wayne Haddix fan too
Yep.
on the Buccaneers. So
Yep. So we're going to switch to tips maybe when you're playing against an opponent, and this again, I'm hoping that this helps inspire some of our viewers to get that Nintendo out and start playing a little Super Tecmo. But one of the most obvious tips that you have to do is right away when you pick teams, you got to look at their playbook.
Yep.
Because some of those teams, they have some like reverse passes. And if you're playing against an opponent that has played before, those plays are not going to work. Those flea flickers, they're just not going to work, especially if you send a rusher. And so you got to change the playbook up a little bit. And, I've adjusted. I've gotten rid of that one run that you could tell by my formation that I was going to do that. And then you would be able to select a guy that could normally stop it. So I've been adjusting my playbook based on your talent has gone up a little bit, and I have to adjust
a little bit.
I still beat you about 80%, but I adjust and I constantly adjust in my playbook. Notice I remember my go-to pass play that I used the hooks, the 4 hooks. I've gotten rid of those.
As you should.
Yeah, I've gotten rid of those just because you adjust to it, and after I scored.
Because you see me picking new plays, you're like, ooh, I want to try that play and I can do it better.
Yeah, and then that's usually
awful.
what happens.
That's awful.
So that's a big tip, is to make sure that you change that playbook right away.
Yeah.
What do you have any tips that you wanted to?
No, like I said, know your formation, know where your number one wide receiver is. Always have a dump off in the event that they call your play. So, and I think that's kind of obvious, but really just having a good understanding of where that go-to receiver is in case you get in a crunch. So,
Yep. And then again, another tip is just know your opponent. Like, I really believe I really know what Man Candy's going to call a lot. It's you get a 1 out of 8. And when you do call the right play, it's basically they're blitzing. Oh yes.
When I'm calling your play,
yes,
that's where I got that soundbite from. I called that play.
Oh, you called that play. Well, anyways, a lot of times, I should probably say this, but a lot of times, Man Candy likes to call a play, and if it works, he'll go back to it right away. And so then, if I notice that, I probably shouldn't give him that. But if he gets a successful play, he sometimes likes to go back to it a lot. So then I'll call it, and then he gets a little frustrated with me. But just to let you know.
Any more final tips for on Tecmo Bowl?
No,
I think we've covered some.
I think we covered it all. I think you guys. I'm hoping our audience goes ahead and tries it, and maybe go against the computer. And when you think you're getting pretty good, sure. Maybe go on X and do a shout out. Maybe challenge us.
That's right.
Yeah, they'd have to beat you first to get to the channel.
Sure. Yeah. At JO Tips Podcast on X there. So.
Yeah, I know there's some people that have come down to my basement. The Biz is always a good matchup. Going against the Biz, and
they like to try.
Yeah, but they usually leave a little sad. Yeah.
Well, that wraps everything up on our tips for Tecmo Super Bowl. I am excited to share that I have another idea here, but this podcast, and thank you all to all of our tippers out there, all of our listeners, that the emails and the messages on X have really been coming in, and this is the hottest growing podcast, at least in our area.
That's right, at least in Verona.
But hey, listen to this. I want to read you some listener feedback.
Okay.
All right. This first one comes to us from @deadbird47.
Okay.
He says, "Great podcast to listen to at the pool. Their tips have helped me become a better person, and I can't wait to invest in your Patreon.
Oh, that is a great. I love that response.
know.
I love that.
That was from at Deadbird47.
at Deadbird47. Well,
So-
thank you, Deadbird.
Yeah. Glad we're able to post my OnlyFace sitting out at the pool. Another listener in Utah says, I've been going through a rough time right now, and your tips have really helped put a smile on my face. Your episode on professional wrestling was inspiring and insightful.
Oh,
Yeah, keep up the great work.
wow.
Yeah, who knew we had an audience in Utah?
Yes, that is wonderful.
Another one, this one's pretty simple. It's from at bookmarks double B.
Yep.
It just says yes with like 4 exclamation points.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's Daniel O'Brien, right?
Oh yeah, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
There you go.
Throwing out some wrestling. Yes.
So
yes.
look at that.
Wow, that's pretty
our
amazing.
listeners are definitely responding.
Well, that is great. Well,
So-
I'm ready for name that tune.
All right, name that sound. Or what's that sound?
What's that sound?
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
What's that
so,
sound? Here we go.
Here we go. So, you want an easy one this time?
Whatever. You throw one out
I think
there.
I think the last one was easy. Let's try one that's a little bit more tricky.
Okay. Wow.
Ready?
Okay. I'm
Here we
ready
go.
again. Jeez.
Okay.
So at first I thought it was darts,
Okay.
but then I heard the birds chirping.
Ah.
So then that gets me something outside. I need it one more time.
Oh, jeez.
One more time. It's
All
something outside then. If the
Something
bird,
outside?
well, except if.
Okay, here we
All
go.
right.
Okay. What's that sound, folks?
Wow.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
So,
So it's got to be something like you're throwing something. I mean,
remember there's 3 sounds. So, but so if you know what's that sound, obviously give us a comment in the section there and respond on X as well.
no.
But to wrap up the show here, we obviously have to thank our fake sponsor.
Yep.
Fake sponsor this week. Let me look in the bag here. It is Nutless Peanuts.
Yes, the
Nutless peanuts.
So those are just something. If you just don't want to eat the peanut, you can, and you just enjoy just opening the shells
Yeah.
and that's what
Sucking on 'em?
Yep, you can just whatever you want to do. So the Nutless Peanuts, I want to thank you so much for sending us a bag of those.
Some would say it's a new fidget spinner.
Yes, yeah, you can, yeah, and plus with the peanut allergies going around,
Sure.
there's no peanut allergies.
there
There's
you
no nuts in them.
You still get to crack some nuts.
Yep. So
Thank you, Nutless Peanuts, for our sponsor.
yes. Well, that will do it. Thank you, guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
And talk to you soon. Thank you. Make sure to like and follow us.